If you find this video helpful, I would appreciate it if you would take a moment to click the like button. This is the primary way the YouTube algorithm determines whether my content is useful. See the library section of my website to download a free copy of An AI Guide for CPAs, which has the latest information and updates on what I'm about to present. Thank you for watching. The main goal of this video is to help CPAs to become proficient in AI-related tools, technology, and techniques that matter in our profession with as little investment of time as possible. There are already hundreds of AI software programs, with more being released every week. Trying to keep up with all of them is impractical, unproductive, and unnecessary. The best, most useful AI platform for CPAs to focus on right now is ChatGPT. As background, ChatGPT is an AI platform developed by the company OpenAI. This chatbot has been built and trained using the software language GPT, hence the name ChatGPT. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. GPT is part of a family of software that uses large language models, meaning that ChatGPT is trained to give human-like responses based on vast amounts of data. It's also worth noting that GPT is used as the basis for other AI platforms, such as Google's Bard and Microsoft's Bing. What you're looking at right now is ChatGPT's main screen. This may look a little different than yours because I use the paid version, but the basic functionality of the free and paid versions is the same. As of this recording, a key limitation of ChatGPT is that its knowledge cutoff date is September 2021. This will almost certainly go away with time, but it's something to be aware of right now. To sign up for ChatGPT, go to chat.openai.com. Under Product, click on ChatGPT. From there, click on Sign Up. Finally, enter some personal information to finish creating your account. Here there are a few things to note. The default version of ChatGPT is free, and it currently runs on what's referred to as GPT 3.5. Because this version is free, it's not available if the system is running at capacity, meaning you won't get a response to your queries. However, in my experience, the free version of ChatGPT is available most of the time, and its responses are generally still very useful. You can elect to upgrade to GPT-4 for $20 a month. This puts you closer to the front of the line if the ChatGPT servers are busy, and this version is more powerful. My recommendation is to start out experimenting with the free version of ChatGPT. If it's generally available when you need it and it's meeting your needs, then keep using it. But if you need to make sure you have access and you're using increasingly sophisticated queries, consider upgrading to the paid version. Now let's take a look at how ChatGPT works. The Send a Message section at the bottom of the screen is what's most important because that's where you submit questions to get a response from ChatGPT. So what do you type? If this were a traditional Google search, you would type in your question right away. However, in the world of ChatGPT, there's a concept referred to as prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is part art and part science. Specifically, it's crafting the wording for AI queries to achieve relevant, high-quality, and accurate responses from ChatGPT. Why is prompt engineering important? If you type a question into ChatGPT with no context, you may get an inaccurate, confusing, or useless response. For example, let's say you're interested in international tax strategies, and you started with the query, "What is a Dutch sandwich?" With no context, ChatGPT might return an answer such as, "A bruge croquette is a type of sandwich made with a deep-fried beef croquette on a bun with mustard." Thus, it's important to use prompt engineering to give ChatGPT guidance and context to improve the relevance, usefulness, accuracy, and customized nature of its responses. Prompt engineering can be extremely detailed and elaborate, but for most queries, it doesn't have to be. The most important purpose of prompt engineering is to set ChatGPT's area of focus, identity, or expertise. So, as I noted earlier, instead of asking your question right away, start your query by typing in something along these lines. You are an expert in US GAAP. You are a corporate tax expert. Or you are an Excel expert. The key point is that once you set ChatGPT's identity and expertise, you can ask follow-up questions in a natural conversational manner on the same subject. As previously noted, prompt engineering can be very elaborate. In the description section of this video, I provide a link to a library of detailed chat prompts. Among many others, this list contains business-related prompts which cause ChatGPT to act as an accountant, a financial analyst, an investment manager, a legal advisor, and a startup idea generator, and the possibilities go on and on. Now that you have an understanding of the basics of prompt engineering, we'll now cover some examples of how to get tax, accounting, and related answers from ChatGPT. We'll start off with a tax question, which is my area of expertise. Recalling our discussion of prompt engineering, your opening statement will be, "You are a U.S. corporate tax expert." After ChatGPT responds by acknowledging it understands the identity or area of expertise you want it to assume, you're now ready to ask your questions. The first is, what is springing debt? Note here that I was able to ask a short, straightforward question, and ChatGPT knew how to respond. That's because, unlike a traditional Google search, where you can only ask a single question before starting over, you can ask ChatGPT follow-up questions in the same subject area, and it remembers the context of your conversation. With that in mind, let's now ask it, what does this have to do with Section 357? Here, notice how I was able to use the term "this" rather than have to write out "springing debt." Again, this shows that ChatGPT is following the conversation and responding accordingly. These explanations on springing debt provided by ChatGPT are good, but what if you learn concepts best from examples? If that's the case, you can type something like this: "Give me a numerical example of how the rules work." Let's now shift to an accounting example. Recently, I was reviewing a transaction, and one of the steps involved journal entries for treasury stock. I was a little rusty in that area, so I started off with the prompt, "You are a US GAAP accounting expert." Having set ChatGPT's expertise, I was then able to follow up with questions such as, "How is treasury stock created and what's the accounting entry?" I followed that with, "What's the entry to retire treasury stock?" Notice here that I used the word "what's" as opposed to writing out "what is." This is a simple example that shows how conversational you can be with ChatGPT. It can be incredibly challenging for CPAs to keep up with tax laws, given the many different types that cover numerous jurisdictions in the United States and around the world. This can also be a time-consuming exercise since reading through or listening to tax summaries that don't apply to your industry, geography, or area of expertise is often necessary. ChatGPT can speed up this process and customize responses according to your needs and preferences. Let's start with federal tax updates. Here is what should now be a familiar prompt. You are a U.S. corporate tax expert. Separate follow-up questions, which you can adjust and customize as needed according to your situation, are as follows. What are the 10 most impactful tax changes that were passed as part of TCJA? What are the top 10 changes if you consider that my company only has U.S. operations and no international operations? What are the 5 most impactful laws that have been enacted after TCJA was passed? Refine the list taking into consideration that my company is a manufacturer that operates only in the southeastern United States. It's important to remember with this example that ChatGPT's current knowledge cutoff is September 2021. However, that gap will move forward in time and likely be shorter as AI technology progresses. Moving on to state and local taxes. With 50 states and roughly 12,000 sales tax jurisdictions to track, ChatGPT can help in keeping up with tax law changes through targeted inquiries. As with federal tax updates, start with a prompt that will generate state tax updates relevant to you and your company. For example, you could enter, "You are a North Carolina tax expert." You can follow that up with questions such as, "What significant statewide sales tax changes have been enacted since January 2020?" Were there any sales tax changes for Wake County? Notice in the federal and state tax update examples, you can start off with a general prompt and then refine it from there to get more relevant and customized responses. This is one of the more powerful features of ChatGPT. Let's review one more example of this with audit and accounting updates. Audit and accounting updates are frequently of interest to CPAs, but like tax updates, they can be challenging to follow when they cover a lot of information on topics not relevant to your industry or area of expertise. To get a quick summary of updates for your specific situation, start with the following prompt. You are a U.S. GAAP accounting expert. Separate follow-up questions, which you can adjust and customize as needed, are as follows. What are the 10 most impactful accounting rule changes since 2018? List only changes that relate to revenue recognition. List the revenue recognition changes that are most relevant to pharmaceutical companies. We've covered examples of getting information on laws, rules, and regulations, but ChatGPT can also help us to more effectively use the tools we rely on as CPAs. For example, type the prompt, "You are an Excel expert." Now you can ask questions such as, how do I identify duplicates in a single column? How do I automatically delete duplicates in the same column? You can then follow this guidance to accomplish what you need to in Excel. Similarly, you can ask ChatGPT Alteryx questions. As before, start with a prompt such as, "You are an Alteryx expert." Let's now ask our follow-up questions, which are similar to the questions we asked about Excel. What tool do I use to delete the last text character in every cell of the same column? Now let's ask, what if I only want to delete the last character if it's a closed parenthesis? Knowing a fair amount about Alteryx, I decide to ask, is there a simpler way to do this using the text-to-columns tool? Other examples of ChatGPT follow-up questions that can work well in generating good responses are as follows. Explain this like I'm a 12-year-old. Compile this into an actionable list, or give me X actionable insights from a book, article, etc. Write this from the perspective of a manager, coworker, friend, etc. Make this more formal or informal. Format this as a table, bullet points, etc. As a final note on prompts and follow-up questions, over time, you'll develop more detailed personal and professional prompts that work well for you. Save these prompts in one of two ways. Keep them within ChatGPT among your past chats, or save them to a Word document so you can copy and paste them into ChatGPT when needed. Similarly, as you continue to develop useful and effective follow-up questions, save those in a readily accessible place as well. If you found this video helpful, please like it and leave a comment. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to be notified of new CPA-related videos. Refer to the free professional education library on my website for videos and other training material organized by category. You can go to my homepage and sign on to my mailing list to receive notifications for new articles, publications, or upcoming CPE events that I'm hosting. See the description section below this video for CPE related to this content. You can also refer to the Books CPE page of my website to see if a NASBA certified course is available.